say we are giving naloxone, we are giving loop diuretic, we are giving ACE inhibitor, we are giving aldactone. So what will it cause? Hyperkalemia, yes. Because aldactone is a mineralocorticoid antagonist. Aldactone. It is a potassium sparing. So potassium sparing antagonist or the diuretic and the ACE inhibitor and this is naloxone. This all causes increased level of potassium, that is more than 5 milligram. Potassium should be kept in mind. The level of the potassium can be easily seen with the electrocardiogram. So whenever we use the beta blocker, whenever we use the various types of calcium channel blocker, usually verapamils or diltiazem or some other amidazoles or other molecules like analgesic or antibiotics, in cardiac patients, we have to keep in mind the possibility of adverse reaction or the interaction of various medicines, which could lead to iatrogenic emergency. Iatrogenic emergency means emergency which are produced by the physician. We people are responsible. So, what are the basic causes, etiology, why this complication occurs? First of all, in the old age, and in the old age especially, the liver and the cardiac and the kidney results are very poor. So proper metabolism of the medicines as well as excretion of the medicine does not occur properly. So always write the lower doses in the patient in the elderly group. Second, if the patient has some comorbid condition means like he or she has diabetes mellitus, she has hypertension, she has hyperglycemia, she has some sort of musculoskeletal or like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease, and she is getting so many medicines. So getting treatment more than 10 is known as polypharmacy. So as far as polypharmacy should be avoided in the patient. I mean to say polypharmacy means prescribing more than 10 molecules or drugs at the same time. It could be dangerous. Secondly, if we prescribe more than 20, some doctor, what they do, they prescribe number of this medicines. More than 20. So what happens? The chances of, as far as till data, 2,25,000 deaths have occurred annually in the USA as an etiologenesis or iatrogenic base, which may be due to fusion, may be due to perioperative or post-operative surgical complications, or which may be any subject, idiosyncrasy, or which may be due to anaphylactic shock, or which may be due to, you can say, wrong administration of the drug. So analgesic, especially in the NSAIDs and broad-spectrum antibiotic and the coumarin derivative, when they are co-administered to the same patient, they possess very potentiative effect and it could cause fatal emergency in the form of a cerebral hemorrhage. So once we are prescribing 2 milligram, so it will act as a 10 milligram. Understand? So the behavior of the drug will be changed. It will potentiate the action of the coumarin and it causes cerebral hemorrhage. So cerebral hemorrhage, I have seen 2 patients, one is from Badraman. I prescribed the coumarin derivative 4 milligram while running, everything while walking on the right path. But what happened with it? He consumed alcohol with the coumarin derivative. But alcohol is again has interaction with the coumarin derivative. So due to alcohol consumption, there is a potentiation effect of coumarin and he developed sudden collapse due to cerebral hemorrhage and died on the spot before arriving at my hospital. There are so many examples. So interactions of the medicine is mandatory to learn. Every physician should learn what the interactions are going to occur in our body. So let me give some examples of the interaction. First of all, let me talk about alcohol. So alcohol, various alcoholic patients are there. So whenever the alcohol is consumed and the patient take, as I told you, analgesic, NSAIDs and sedative. Sedative means barbiturates, pentobarbital, quinolbarbitol, cicobarbital, phenobarbital, and chlorhydrate preparation, phenothiazide derivative, which are known as major tranquilizers like chlorpromazine, promazine, thioridazine, prochlorperazine, promazine and trifluparazine, escazine. ठीक है ना? So these drugs are known as major tranquilizer and used in affective disorder. Affective disorder means schizophrenia. ठीक है ना? And the PCAD group, amitriptyline. ठीक है? हाँ, amitriptyline, impramin, cloimpramin, triimpramin, all these belongs to PCAD group. And SSRI, serotonin, slow serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Common example is escitalopram, fluoxetine. What is the duloxetine? SNRI, very good. And what is about paroxetine? 5-HT inhibitor. 5-hydroxytryptamine. So all the benzodiazepine also, nitrazepam, all these are contraindicated in the patient while taking alcohol. And all the MAOI means monoamine oxidase inhibitor. Like there are two molecules which come in this category. One is phenylcypromine and secondly phenelgin. So all these medications are strictly contraindicated when the patient is consuming alcohol. Otherwise, what will happen? What will happen with the patient is always serious. I will say these words only. Okay? Secondly, when alcohol is consumed with biguanides, there are two groups. One is biguanides and second is sulfonylurea, which are used for the diabetic purpose. Okay? So when the alcohol is consumed with biguanides, it will cause lactic acidosis. And when the alcohol is consumed with the sulfonylurea, it causes disulfiram-like reaction. When the alcohol is consumed with ketoconazole, itraconazole and metronidazole, it will cause disulfiram-like reaction. And when alcohol is consumed with prokinetics, what are prokinetics? Yeah, divosopride, domperidone, cisapride, mozapride, all these are these enhance the peristaltic activity right from the esophagus towards the gastric and the duodenum. They empty time is decreased, so there is a peak elevation of the alcohol C2H, 5OH just within 10 minutes. Potentiation. Okay? So prokinetics. Understand? Second comes the analgesic. Analgesic are very important because there are analgesic nephropathy. One class analgesic nephropathy, ischemic nephropathy, PDK nephropathy, HIV nephropathy, hypertensive nephropathy, diabetic nephropathy, collagen disease induced nephropathy. So many causes are there, but there is one which should be remembered, that is analgesic. Analgesic nephropathy is generally in the form of interstitial nephritis, okay, which occur due to the chronic administrations of the NSAIDs. Okay? So when NSAIDs are consumed with corticosteroid, there are chances of developing upper GI bleed. Am I right? Okay. When NSAIDs are co-administered with aminoglycoside group, especially if the patient has some sort of CKD, okay, now it may be fourth stage. So there are chances the patient may develop potentiation effect on the nephrotoxicity. So nephrotoxicity occurs in the patient who is receiving analgesic along with the aminoglycoside. What are the molecules which comes in aminoglycoside group? Amikacin, gentamicin, natromycin, kanamycin, tobramycin, streptomycin, neomycin, rapamycin, cipromycin, ansamycin. So many drugs are there, but their main adverse effect is it possesses nephrotoxicity and ototoxicity. Okay? So when these are combined with the analgesic, there is a synergistic effect of these both effects, these two molecules, and causes nephrotoxicity. Okay? So let us come to the next example. Next example is amiodarone. We are usually in the cardiology, in the ICU. Amiodarone when used with beta blocker, what it causes? It causes bradycardia. Why? Because beta blocker possesses negative inotropic, negative chronotropic, and negative bromotropic factor. It reduces the heart rate, it reduces the cardiac output, and it reduces the conduction velocity. So whenever it reduces the conduction velocity and it is consumed with amiodarone beta blocker, there are chances the patient will have some sort of blocks, severe bradycardia. ठीक है? So amiodarone and sometimes cardiac arrest may occur due to the co-administrations of amiodarone and beta blocker. Then the amiodarone combination with the calcium channel blocker, especially the verapamil and diltiazem. This decreases the systolic function. Cardiac output is decreased, systolic function, stroke volume is decreased, and secondly, it causes bradycardia. These are blocker. We act on the SA node, AV node. ठीक है ना? Understand? So next comes the antibiotic role. So antibiotics, especially the any ampicillin and amoxicillin, when given co-prescribed with the allopurinol, it causes almost every patient some sort of urticaria or allergic skin reaction. Okay? I will complete in 2 lines. Okay? Next comes the this aminoglycoside group, which is very important. Okay? We give the patients, every patient, okay, which requires anti-anaerobic coverage. Okay? And anti-nectar. Okay? Nectar, 2 types of organism. One is gram positive and gram negative. To check the gram negative, you usually use this one and gram positive or the penicillin. Okay, na? Penicillin, whatever, vancomycin, whatever the sensitivity, culture sensitivity, or there is on the empirical basis in the ICU. Okay, na? So this plus aminoglycoside, while combined with the loop diuretic, it causes ototoxicity. When it combined with the vancomycin, it causes ototoxicity. When it combined with analgesic, it causes nephrotoxicity. Then aminoglycoside group. Yeah. When it combined with amphotericin B, which is a molecule used for the viral infection. So very bad combinations that causes nephrotoxicity. Okay? So next comes the praziquantel. Praziquantel is an antihistaminic. When it is co-administered with the carbimazoles and hydantoin derivative, it causes, due to co-administration of the molecule, there is a less or even absence of bioavailability of the praziquantel, and antihistaminic effect is 0. Understand? Okay. And when the alprazolam or the benzodiazepine derivatives are used concurrently with the dextropropoxyphene hydrochloride or some anti-allergic, so there is an enhancement or the potentiation of the net effect of both the drugs. Next comes the coumarin derivatives. Next comes the coumarin derivatives are, like I told you, the alcohol potentiate reaction, then the hepatitis. In hepatitis, the metabolism dynamic properly, and chronic hepatitis due to the alcoholic hepatitis. Okay? All the analgesic, the NSAIDs generally, then the broad spectrum antibiotics, then the anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroid, nandrolone, phenylpropionate. So these potentiate the action of the acetylchromes. And the molecule which decreases the effect of acetylchromes are carbamazepines, aptoin, and rifampicin. Okay. Next comes the SSRI. When SSRI are co-administered with carbamazepines and lithium toxicity, I have seen patients. Okay. So there are chances of the patient develop extrapyramidal syndrome or serotonergic reactions. Okay. And when tricyclic PCAD are administered in the patient suffering from Parkinsonism, especially if he is getting a metadone also with Pacigen, levodopa, carbidopa. Okay? So the chances are anticholinergic effects as well as the chances of this PCAD, the potentiation of effect is there. Understand? And if the TCAD and SSI are used co-administered, so what happen? There are potentiation of only TCAD, not of SSR. Okay? Next comes the prokinetics. Prokinetics means which increase the peristaltic movement of the esophagus and stomach. Okay? And these are what are the prokinetics combination? Domperidone is usually with the वो भी आता DSR भी आता, but this ranitidine plus domperidone causes akathisia when co-prescribed. Akathisia means restless, confusions, ठीक है, involuntary movements of the body, so like EPS, extrapyramidal traction or EPS or extrapyramidal syndrome, ठीक है. And cisapride, when cisapride is given with itraconazole, ठीक है, itraconazole is a anti-ketoconazole, so it increases the prolongation of the QT intervals. What is the normal QT intervals? Very good, 0.30 to 0.42, and it is always expressed in QTC. QTC means corrected for the heart rate. So whenever there is an increase of QT interval, the chances are the patient may develop some sort of ventricular arrhythmia. If it is continued, the patient may develop ventricular fibrillation and ultimately cardiac arrest occurs. Because we have to keep in mind the possibility of such fatal complication due to administration of drug. We are giving drug for the relief of the patient on one side and we are giving the death to the patient on the other side. Why? Due to lack of knowledge. Understand? So next comes the category diabetic agents. Diabetic agents, what are the biguanides? I told you when it is given with the alcohol, it causes lactic acidemia or lactic acidosis. And sulfonylurea. Sulfonylurea when given with antacids like saccharanfate, magnesium trisilicate and magnesium hydroxide, aluminum and magnesium combinations, and omeprazole. So this increases the enhancement of or efficacy of the sulfonylurea and causes hypoglycemia. And similarly, the ACE inhibitor and the beta blocker when given concurrently or co-administered with the sulfonylurea, it causes hypoglycemia. So always keep in mind the possibility of hypoglycemia, reduce the level of the hypoglycemic agent, usually of this sulfonylurea whenever the patient is receiving ACE inhibitor and the beta blocker. Very important. Okay? Very important. So next comes the antihypertensive. Antihypertensive, it is a fundamental law. Whenever any analgesic is prescribed to the medicines, no antihypertensive act in the same way. Their antihypertensive effect will be decreased. Okay? And secondly, there are some pathognomonic amines, bronchodilators like terbutaline and salbutamol when they are administered with the antihypertensive. So there are chances you are unable sometimes to control the BP at all. Understand? Because there is a overproduction of adrenergic system. Okay? Adrenaline. Okay? Similarly, if you are using this the use of ACE inhibitor as an antihypertensive, you are using this ramipril, cordagen as an antihypertensive, or captopril or enalapril. Okay? So, and on the other side, you are giving this potassium sparing agents, potassium sparing diuretics like aldactones. Okay? Eplerenone. Eplerenone is a new molecule which also maintains the level of magnesium. Okay? Aldosterone is this aldactone only spares the potassium. So potassium and magnesium both are retained in the body with the help of eplerenone, 50 milligrams in the dose. Okay? Similarly, that is also 50 grams, so 50 milligrams. Okay? So very important is this one. And if beta blockers are used for the purpose with the AJ and hypertension, sometimes atenolol we use. And along with the beta blocker, we use also diltiazem and the verapamil. So what will happen? There are chances the patient may develop severe bradycardia, severe cardiac death. Hypotensive effect is less as compared to conduction disturbance, as compared to the systolic disturbance. Okay? So these are the weak hypotensive agents. Okay? Not the first line drug. Okay? First line drug is a diuretic, rather ARB next. Okay? So next comes the combination or co-administration of the levodopa. Levodopa with MAOI, monoamine oxidase inhibitor like tranylcycloman and phenelgin. When co-administered with the levodopa, there is a chances of the patient may develop serotonergic syndrome. So when the patient takes potassium salt in the form of a tablet like a K-grade or the syrup like Codclor, and also taking aldactone diuretics and also taking ACE inhibitor, what are chances? hypokalemic reaction may occur. So we have to check whether regularly whether the potassium level has not gone below the required one, less than 3 or less than 3.5 milliunits. So it's better to write down this telemetry and try to understand the various electrolyte disturbance of telemetry. ठीक है, इनू देखा करो, इसों ही अंदाजा लाया करो कि इंटरवल ਵਧਿਆ ਜਾਂ नहीं ਵਧਿਆ. ठीक है, what are the manifestation of various drugs can be easily diagnosed on the ECG. मिक्सोडीमा है, थायरोटॉक्सिकोसिस है, hyperventilation syndrome है, all the electrolyte disturbance है. ठीक है ना, I won't go into details. Next comes the very important but rarely used ketamine. What is the ketamine? It is the anesthetic agent. Yeah, anesthetic agent. When used with altroxin, it causes malignant hypertension. So when the anti mycoplasma means tuberculosis. So ATT, anti-tuberculosis treatment, contains rifampicin and isoniazid, two molecules are seen as on empty stomach. So when they are given with magnesium antacid or omeprazole, what it causes? There is a decreased level of the or bioavailability of the this rifampicin and isoniazid. ठीक है, isoniazid. So keep in mind again co-administration अनुमान केड़ा देना चाहिए. ठीक है ना. So next comes the potassium sparing agents. So potassium sparing agents like aldactone, when ACE inhibitor, so it causes hyperkalemia. So when hydrochlorothiazide used with analgesic, no effect as a this antihypertensive. ठीक है, and loop diuretic with this aminoglycoside group causes nephrotoxicity. ठीक है. So similarly, when we use the naloxone, we have started from the naloxone in this patient. So naloxone, when we use with analgesic, it potentiates the effect of naloxone. When we use with some sort of benzodiazepine derivative like alprazolam, when we use naloxone, we are using on the same patients the alprazolam. ठीक है. So the potentiation of the naloxone is there. Beta blocker, cardiac arrest. Calcium channel blocker, systolic activity is decreased. Cardiac stop volume is decreased. ठीक है. So these are the various interaction reactions which could occur in the patients if we don't keep in mind the possibility of such adverse reaction and become the cause of death. ठीक है. I told you there are two types of reaction. One is the simple reactions, allergic reaction, which occurs due to the various allergen, or like there are this reaction which occur in the ward or in the ICU due to their ignorance, like due to proper sterilization, lack of proper sterilization, or the infusate means fluid is 10% or NSCJ, pyrogen. ठीक है, ठीक है. It contains pyrogen. Some protein particles are there which are responsible for fibrin reaction. So such types of patients suffer from febrile reactions. So these can be easily controlled with the injection of this levels and hydrocortisone. They will be used 4 mg and 8 mg. That's some value. ठीक है, IV. But in some patients, but it should not be ignored. Even the B5% or normal saline or isolate P, isolate G, isolate M may sometimes cause, but the occurrence rate is very rare. Anaphylaxis reaction with frightening speed. Frightening speed means if not treated vigorously, the patient will die. ठीक है? Understand? So always keep in mind, attend the patient as early as possible when he or she manifests any sign symptom of febrile reaction. Understand? ਜਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਕੰਪਲੇਂਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਹੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ 4 mg ਲਗਾ ਦਿਓ और हाइड्रोकोर्टिसोन लगा दियो. It is customary to and it is mandatory for every physician to have a tray with 3 medicines. What are those? Adrenaline, hydrocortisone and Evals. ठीक है? Adrenaline pre-filled syringe 1 in 50,000. Dilution should be there. If you administer adrenaline in IV without dilution, it will cause sudden cardiac arrest. Why? Due to fibrillation. ठीक है. If you administer carbachol, suddenly it causes cardiac arrest. ठीक है. Understand? अब what are the एक तो मेडिसिन लिखी है ਜਿਹੜੀ इंट्रामस्कुलर इंजेक्शन ਜਿਹੜਾ असर नहीं करता एप्टोन, ठीक है ना. एप्टोन should always give an IV, ठीक है ना. Patient comes with status epilepticus, never give Atrolis intramuscular, ठीक है. Never give intramuscular injection in any patient in which the INR is raised, in which the patient has taken low molecular weight heparin, any type of heparin, anticoagulant. See if there is a site of hematoma, always stop, give IV. ठीक है ना. So anaphylaxis reactions are very much important. So anaphylaxis reactions are, I told you, various types of chemical which occurs due to the vibrations of, like in blood transfusions. What happens? There, the patients who are IgA deficient will suffer from severe anaphylactic and hemolytic reaction, could lead to renal failure. ठीक है. After BD, blood transfusions. So because they are AGA deficient, and we have introduced the AGA from the donor. ठीक है. Very important. So anaphylactic, this iatrogenic emergencies, I will take some example again. There are some this due to infusions into say like Dextroid and 5%, then this normal lines. ठीक है. All the infusions may cause iatrogenic emergency. Keep in mind. ठीक है. Secondly, all the blood transfusions, it may cause allergic reaction, it may cause anaphylaxis, it may cause bacterial infection, very important. ठीक है. It may cause hyperkalemia if more than 5 or 6 units are given to the same patient on the one day, same day. ठीक है. So there are so many complications. Not going into details, I will say, one is overhydration. Overhydration is very much important. While attending the patient, suppose if the patient is cardiac reserve, ठीक है, and he or she is old lady comes with poor cardiac reserve, and you have transfused 2 or 3 bottles suddenly to the patient, she will suffer from anemia. ठीक है. So keep in mind. So overhydration is more serious than dehydration. Slightly kept the patient slightly dehydrated state. Not only overhydrated state. Only there are 2 or 3 indications where there are a severe gastroenteritis or blood loss, or there is a hypoperfusion. ठीक है. There is a hypovolemia. So or the cholera. ठीक है. These are the indications where we have to give 10 to 15 bottles of this DNS immediately. ठीक है. But otherwise, no need to give heavy dose. No need to give overdose the patient. Overloading of the patient is always very dangerous. ठीक है ना. We are using for beneficial effect, but on the other hand, if you have not kept in mind that it may cause overhydration means patient drop in his own fluid. Patient अपने ही पानी में डूब जाता है, मर जाता है. समझ गए ना. So always keep in mind. ठीक है. But we are giving at the same rate which are required. ठीक है. यदि mild है, moderate है, severe है, post dehydration देख के ही देना. ठीक है. Next comes the various procedures which are performed, but causing various iatrogenic emergency. So we perform the procedure for 2 purposes. One is the diagnostic purpose, and second is the therapeutic purpose. So once the iatrogenesis is due to the therapeutic purpose in the very sick patients, it can be expected or can be accepted also by the patient or by the attendant or by the physician also. But if we are doing for the diagnostic purpose and the patient is alright, and you by doing diagnostic procedure you cause any iatrogenic emergency which could lead to the death of the patient, that will not be bearable by you or by the attendant of the patients. Some getting, especially in nowadays practice what is happening. ठीक है ना. So everything should be discussed with the patient, with the attendants. Call the attendants of the patient in your room, take the video consent, consider or talk in details the benefits and drawback of this procedure, and so on. ठीक है ना. So what are the common procedures? One is LP. So LP is used in short. LP is used to diagnose CNS infections. When the modern modalities like MRI and CT does not check the or does not clinches the diagnosis. Understand? So and there is inaccuracy, and the patient has headache, ठीक है, you have ruled out with the help of CT scan, it has no IC as well, there are no some sort of hemorrhage, ठीक है, so you suspect that infection. So last tool for the confirmation or the last port of the appeal is LP, ठीक है, but there are two complications which can LP which can occur. What are those? Headache, ठीक है, headache which may persist for 7 days. The patient suffer from headache should be in recombinant patients without pillow, ठीक है, and they are given Dextrin 5% 2 bottles. They will resolve. The headache will resolve, ठीक है. Otherwise, it will resolve. There is no consequences, fatal consequences. No, ठीक है. And second important is coning. Coning is very important, ठीक है. Coning means invagination of some part of the forebrain, midbrain through the tentorium cerebellum, ठीक है, or through the foramen magnum from the hindbrains, like especially the medulla oblongata into the lumbar compartment. So whenever there is a difference is much greater in the pressure gradient, ठीक है, pressure gradient much more in the cranial compartment as compared to the lumbar or spinal compartment. So there is a chances of coning. So every patient should be tested for any ICSOL, ठीक है, to rule out the ICSOL, ठीक है. So if the coning occurs, sometimes what happens? If there is a invagination of the foramen, this medulla oblongata through the foramen magnum, what will cause it? It will disrupt the supply of the or compress the foramen magnum, this medulla oblongata, and cause it compression of the vital center, which are primarily medulla oblongata, like cardiac center and the respiratory center, and respiratory arrest occurs immediately. Okay? It should be the hospital for the patients and the large for the physicians. Other complications which occur: never perform the LP if the patient has some sort of infection on the side you are performing LP. Okay? So what happens? So if the patient LP, second indication for the LP is SAH. What is SAH? Subarachnoid hemorrhage. It occurs due to rupture of aneurysm. Okay? So once the aneurysm ruptures, so it causes SAH. But usually it is picked up by the modalities like CT or MRI, but in some cases it is very difficult, and we have to take the benefit of LP. Okay? So LP is indicated in the patient who are not diagnosed with any modalities, okay? And there is a subarachnoid hemorrhage. So subarachnoid hemorrhage is cleansed with the help of a LP, but never perform LP on the patient who had some sort of infection on the area which you are pursuing, okay? And secondly, never use the needle less than 22 days, okay? 22, 23, 24 we use usually, okay? So use this. If you use 20, what will it cause you? More aspiration of CSF. So what is the cause of headache? It is due to the leakage of CSF. ठीक है? That causes headache. So there are chances of कि ज़्यादा leakage हो जाएगी. And never perform any test while performing LP. That is manometry or Tuken stat test. These are never performed in the patient. When as soon as possible, do your LP and come out. ठीक है? The lesser the time consumed upon the patient, the lesser the chances of complication. Understand? So next comes the pleural tappings. Pleural tapping occurs in pleural tapping. Where we do pleural tapping? For diagnostic purpose as well as for the therapeutic purpose. For diagnostic purpose, just to find out the cause. What is the cause? Usual cause of the usually we perform in pleural effusions. So what are the commonest causes of the pleural effusions are coughs. In our country, the most leading cause is the pulmonary cough. Second is pneumonia. Third one pulmonary infarction. Fourth one is the malignancy, pneumogenic, this is bronchogenic carcinoma. And less common causes may be bronchiectasis, lung abscess, and transudatory phenomena occur in the uremia also. Okay? And hypoalbuminemia, anywhere, maybe a situs or the basal pleural effusions. So for the when we use for the therapeutic purpose, then the patient is symptomatic. It means the patient shows some sort of dyspnea. Okay? Then we remove some 2 liters, 1.5 liters, more than 1.5 liters should not be removed at the same time. Otherwise, it will cause some vesicle collapse. Okay? So it should not remove. Okay? So, what are the precautions and what are the complications which could occur? One is formation of the pneumothorax. Rupture of the bully may lead to pneumothorax, which is resolved spontaneously without any aid. But in some cases, if there is a ill-trained hands, okay, or inexperienced hands, what happens? There is a rupture of the major bulla, which leads to major pneumothorax. When the major pneumothorax occurs, there is a sudden collapse of the lung, and sometimes it is converted into the tensional pneumothorax, which itself is a acute medical emergency in pulmonology. Tensional pneumothorax that immediate required to puncture the site and reduce the pressure to the atmospheric level. Or in massive pneumothorax, what will happen? We have to introduce some chest tube drainage, just to reduce the pneumothorax. Then mediastinal shift, then pleural shock. Pleural shock is very important. Sometimes patient dies of pleural shock by doing that. So it is not a simple task. We have done hundreds of patients. So thanks God. So next is the infection. Introduction of infection in the pleural cavity, because pleural cavity is a differential space between distal and parietal pleura, which is composed of accommodates 50 to 60 ml of the pleural fluid, which facilitates the movements of the lungs. So whenever there is a abnormal condition under pathological condition, accumulation of fluid leads to some dyspnea, so which is lead by therapeutic thoracentesis. This is called thoracentesis. Next, we करते हैं अपन एंटी नेजोगैस्ट्रिक इंटुबेशन. तो नेजोगैस्ट्रिक इंटुबेशन कितने कितने करी थी अपन? In comatized patient or the severe patient who are not taking orally, we give enteral nutrition. Secondly, we put the tubes, nasogastric tubes, in the patient suffering from acute poisoning, just to cause the gastric lavage. And the third one is mechanical obstruction, or any type of obstruction. In any type of obstruction, we do this nasogastric intubation. Or there is one word, orogastric intubation, when the tube is inserted by the mouth. In some cases, I told you the example, I think, in the past. So this is a what are the complications which could occur due to NV intubation, nasogastric intubation, and it will be on behalf of nursing, not our. So nurses are also responsible for reduction of for inducing iatrogenic emergencies in two ways. One is by not seeing the patients, by not nursing the patient properly, because there are three complications. Like is in comatized patient, there may be bed sore, there may be UTI or the aspirating pneumonia. It is better to prevent than to treat it. ठीक है ना? इन्हों prevent करो, treat ना करो. ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਹੋਵੇ treat नहीं होनी. ठीक है ना? So always said. ठीक है? इन्हों ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਗਲਤੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ? Sometimes what happens? They are giving feed. They have not checked whether it is in situ, whether it is in stomach or not. So the rise to sometimes the patient is comatized. So he or she has pulled out. ठीक है? And it has come in the respiratory passage. And they give. ठीक है? The nurses gave the feed without checking it. So what if all the feed goes, nutritious substance goes into the lungs and causes ARDS, aspiration pneumonitis. ठीक है ना? So this is a very grave. Again, electrical suction कर लो या bronchogenic resuction कर लो. Sometimes patient die, especially he or she is old age. ठीक है ना? So very important. And दूसरा क्या है ना दा? दोस्तों, ear embolism. Ear embolism is very important. दोनों ये लाना है ना IV infusions. Ear embolism can occur in the pleural tapping. Very important. Pleural tappings may lead to ear embolism. So ear embolism, though the occurrence is rare, but when this embolism get entry into the radicals of the pulmonary vessels, pulmonary veins, and goes into the left side of the atria, then to the left ventricle, then to the aortic arch, then to the sinus, then to the coronary artery which arises from the coronary sinus, then to the LAD, then to the LCX and the RCA, and it infects and cardiac arrest, and while traveling along the route of the blood into the cerebral artery, it sometimes causes cerebral thrombotic or the embolic disease, that is known as CVS, cardiovascular catastrophe. ठीक है ना? So this is not the easy thing. This should be considered. So whenever you are doing such types of maneuvers, whenever you are doing such types of procedures in the hospitals, ठीक है? Other are this pericardiocentesis, that it will lead. Pericardiocentesis is not our subject. It may lead to injury to the edema, injury to the intercostal vessel, injury to the myocardium, injury to the formations of various types of arrhythmia and the cardiac shock. It is usually done with the help of ultrasound with echocardiography under guidance of color doppler. Not without. It is done postal approach and intercostal approach. So next comes this ascitic fluid aspiration. Ascitic fluid aspiration. This is called paracentesis abdominis. Okay? So it is again done for diagnostic purpose and for therapeutic purpose. For a diagnostic purpose, just to diagnose the patient why the ascites has occurred. The most commonest cause of the ascites are liver problems, cirrhosis. This is very important, crucial. Okay? Patient is tells about I am taking alcohol for so long. Okay? So I am taking this paracetamol or the other some mushroom. I will talk only there are two basic causes. One is the chronic hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis, and the cirrhosis. The causes are related with the liver cirrhosis. With the second cause is related with the kidney, that is the nephrotic problem. Third cause is related with the advanced CCF that leads to ascites. Fourth cause is related with the hypoproteinemia, any kind. Because why the ascites occur? Ascites occur due to decreased albumin level, less than 3.5 milligram in the blood. Okay? So albumin are responsible for maintaining oncotic pressures in IVS, intravascular system or intravascular chamber, IVC. Okay? So whenever there is a decreased production in the form of cirrhosis, what happens? There is always low level of the albumin, because more the scanning of the hepatic parenchyma, there are more chances more the lower level of the albumin. Okay? So once the patient reaches to end stage liver disease, ESLD, so there are frank ascites, which is a you can say refractory, not reversible, irreversible. Irreversible. So hypoalbuminemia in that case, hypoalbuminemia also occur in nephrotic syndrome. So always there is a excretion of albumin with the urine. So oncotic pressure is decreased. So what happened in these cases? Due to lack of or decreased osmotic pressure, the fluid which was previously present in the IVC that rushes outside the interstitial spaces like peritoneum and collects there. Okay? Due to decreased osmotic pressure, because interstitial compartment it is set at higher osmotic pressure. Fluid always runs from the lower osmotic towards the higher osmotic pressure. So accumulation of the fluid occurs in the peritoneal cavity. Okay? Either it is the cause is cirrhosis, either the cause is nephrotic, either the cause is liver. Cardiac. Okay? In cardiac there is also albuminuria. Okay? And backward pressure again vicious circle. Okay? And hypoproteinemia. Rare causes are again there. Bigger causes ascites. Okay? And so many. Okay? But again complications which could occur. What are? One, the main dangerous is peritonitis. Okay? So once you have introduced the bacteria in the peritoneal cavity, then the patient will march towards the grave. Ultimately, understand? So I have spoken these words with much gravity. ठीक है? Marching towards the grave. ठीक है?